You ready to get your fix? Are you ready? Are you ready to get your fix? Are you ready? Are you ready to get your fix? Are you ready? Are you ready to get your fix? Are you ready? Are you ready to get your fix? Are you ready? Are you ready to get your fix? Are you ready to get your fix?
With the Wicks here on this beautiful Friday, February 11th, 2022, and welcome to the show, whether that be on Facebook or on YouTube. If you're on Facebook, hey, do me a favor, hit the like, hit the subscribe on YouTube, hit the subscribe. Facebook, hit the share, okay? Kind of mix those two up, but who gives a shit, right? We're here doing the show with Y4 or John. Like always, typical, it's a Friday football talk, where we kind of dive into the world of football and get John's thoughts on a lot of things that kind of happened over the week, or some of the things that happened over the week. There's a couple good ones we can talk about. We'll also talk about last night's NFL Honors Show. That was pretty decent. Was his name Keegan Key, or whatever his name, Key and Peele?
Oh, Campbell.
Yeah, Key was the main guy. He was the main host. This is his second year doing it. Last night was electrifying, so we'll dive into that. Who won which award? And by the way, I was right on every single pick except for one. And that was on me. I don't know how I forgot about it, but we'll talk about it.
So if people are getting their fix, they should be betting on stuff.
Yeah, I know. But, that's just how the world rolls.
Suit yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
But, I think it's a pretty good choice.
Yeah, it's pretty good choice if you want to, just take, listen to me. Sometimes I'm smart, sometimes, dumb, but at the same time, we just do what we got to do. Give you my opinion, give you our opinion. But we're going to dive a lot into kind of like the Dolphins head coaching stuff and, the Germany location, or games taking place in Germany. Next year we'll get John's thoughts on that and stuff. And then we also have to dive into the Super Bowl 56 game that is the Cincinnati Bengals taking on the Los Angeles Rams, because we haven't talked about it this whole week, and there was a reason for that because, basically that's every single big show out there, okay, that they're literally the whole week is let's talk about this game. They really don't get, they talk about the same shit every single day, so we'll talk about that. We'll also give you our game pick and who is possibly going to win this year's Super Bowl, which is Super Bowl 56 down in SoFi Stadium in Los Angeles. So, are you ready to get your fix? So, I think before we start off with the NFL Honors Award ceremony that was last night, which was a pretty good one, we're going to dive and kind of get John's thoughts on the Miami Dolphins head coaching situation. They have hired Mike McDaniels, obviously, but he also came out and said, yeah, we're gonna build around Tua. We're gonna give him the opportunity to succeed in this league, because the last 2 years, it's really kind of been a rocky start. Obviously coming out of the draft with all those injuries, a lot of people were kind of like, well, is he gonna perform up to standards? He was supposed to be like the best quarterback in that draft class. Really hasn't lived up to that hype. But that's kind of apparent when you go to the Miami Dolphins, a team that really, it's so hit or miss because they are in a really good division with the Buffalo Bills, the New England Patriots, not so much the Jets. But the AFC at this point is stacked. We got, Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow, Justin Herbert. The list kind of goes on with these superstar quarterbacks and these superstar teams that are really starting to flourish. But Tua really hasn't been given that great of a chance. So kind of give me your initial thoughts on building around Tua, and do you think this is a good idea or what?
Yeah, I like it. Unless you have the opportunity to get a guy like, let's say you can get your hands on Rodgers. Let's say you can get your hands on Russell Wilson, who is basically what Tua could be maybe one day, but just not right now, not even close to where Russell Wilson is. I think Russell Wilson's top 7 quarterbacks in the league, easy. But I am a firm believer in giving young guys a chance. I'm a fan of the Packers. we get a lot of guys in later rounds that end up shining.
Kind of like the New England Patriots.
Year 2, 3 in their career, 3 to 4 even
Before they're really
sometimes.
that superstar level kind of thing.
And you just see their growth. But now with the way social media is, with the way that the NFL is set up, everybody wants to win right now. So you don't see that development, and I think that, I mean, we've talked about this before, I think a lot of careers end way too soon in the NFL before these guys can even reach their full potential.
Yep.
Some people gotta be in there longer instead of just getting their feet wet. Like, go swimming with the sharks.
Yeah.
Like, you know, some of them need that experience and need to learn from that to reach where they could be. And Tua is one of those guys where he's so talented that if they gave up on him, or if the NFL gave up on him and he just had this backup career bouncing around teams, it might ruin his career.
Oh, yeah.
Where if they keep him in Miami, build around him like they say they are, believe in him the same way that the Ravens believed in Lamar Jackson, believe in him, build around him, and see what he can do. And I'm sure, I mean, he hasn't played terrible.
No, he hasn't played terrible at all, to be honest with you.
So,
I mean, he has the pieces somewhat around him. You know, like Jalen Waddell, he obviously flourished. Yeah. He flourished late in the second half of the season. But yeah, definitely, like, if he does have that, like you said, I guess that backup role for the rest of his career, that's got to take a toll on his mental, state. Because, like, he was given this opportunity. He was behind Ryan Fitzpatrick, got an opportunity to start last season. And then that was kind of taken away from him, obviously, because it felt like the team was better off with Ryan Fitzpatrick at that point. But I think that right then and there was kind of like, okay, well, what the hell? Like, you gave me this opportunity. Why are you taking it away from me? I think in that point, you should have just let him take that whole year off. Like, Patrick Mahomes had a whole year to sit behind Alex Smith, learn from a veteran, learn, the ins and outs of the game, learn their playbook for a whole season, basically, instead of kind of just getting thrown to the wolves, like you mentioned, and just kind of go out or thrown to the sharks. But he's going to be really interesting. He's going to have a really interesting career. But do you think if, like, going out there and getting, say, if you have an opportunity to get Aaron Rodgers, you have the opportunity to get Russell Wilson or all these, high-level quarterbacks, do you think that makes the Dolphins that much more better than if they have or stick with Tua? I mean, or do you think it's kind of more, I guess, I really don't know how to kind of word that.
I mean, I think of Russell Wilson. I mean, now it's going to be different with change of coaching. I've never seen this guy coach.
Yeah.
But if they would have still had Brian Flores, I think if you bring a guy like Russell Wilson over, they're winning 5 more games.
Yeah.
And what'd they go this year? It was like 7.
No, they went, I think, 8 and 9.
8 and 9.
I think so.
Yeah, and they started out really bad, probably getting bonuses.
Because I think they started like 0 and no, they
Get
weren't
those
0 and
$100,000 bonuses out of the way early in the season.
Yeah, right.
But
kind of got sick of that.
yeah, I mean, yeah, I think if you bring a guy like Rodgers or Russell Wilson, yeah, they're gonna win more games than Tua.
Yeah, it's very possible. Tua didn't play like at all that bad, but the head coach they got, Mike McDaniels, apparently he played a big role in having, when Jimmy Garoppolo got to the San Francisco 49ers, he had a really good year 1. He's done that with Jimmy Garoppolo. He was the main reason why Jimmy Garoppolo flourished, and he was in another organization before that. I can't remember exactly who it was, but he also helped another quarterback in their year 1, like, just flourish, have a really good year 1, and then now he kind of went away from that, and he was the run game coordinator for the 49ers. So you got to think there's some, I mean, he has something there. I mean, he's definitely, because that's what the 49ers have been known for, is running the ball. Deebo Samuel in the wide receiver position, kind of doing these jet sweeps, or being in the running back position, him kind of, balling basically the entire season. He's definitely a big factor in that. But if they were to build around Tua, if they stick with Tua, what are some key pieces you think that the Miami Dolphins actually need to focus on more and to get into the building?
I mean, it seems like now the best teams got a solid line.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you can really build around those. I mean, it's kind of been like that all throughout football. If you don't have a line, It ruins your pass game, and it ruins your run game.
Yep.
Turnovers can become of it. You got coverage turnovers. Guys can't get open. But if you're getting pressured, then you got panic turnovers
Yep.
with the quarterback. Also, can't run, can't control the clock. Other teams controlling the clock. You know, so a solid line, you can do a lot with a little.
Oh yeah, 100%.
So a guy like Tua having protection, and he already has Jalen Waddle. Who else do they got as wide receivers?
What is it? I want to say Devontae Parker. I think was one.
He's still there.
I think so.
Okay.
I think he might. I think this might have been his last year.
So yeah, maybe another slot receiver. They still got Gesicki.
Yep. Yep.
Okay.
Mike Gesicki.
He's good.
He's a really good tight end. I think a top 10 tight end in the NFL.
Running backs.
You know, Myles Gaskin. Supposed to be.
He could be good.
He can be good. He was supposed to have a really good season this year, but
But that's back to a good line.
yeah, exactly.
Have a good line, and
Or play
you
calling.
could put a 5th rounder back there, and he could flourish.
Yeah, right.
You never know with a good line. I mean, look at the Browns. Every single running back that they put back there is
Been
they do
pretty good.
Yeah,
Like
because
even
their
going back to
line
like
is
Peyton Hillis
fucking-
almost. And
Yeah.
he made the Madden cover that one year because he had a ridiculous season, and a lot of that has to do with the offensive line. The offensive line can literally make or break you, and that
Yeah.
basically that's what's going to happen right in this Super Bowl with the Cincinnati Bengals, and we'll get to that later.
Yeah.
But having a solid foundation right up front in order to like give that quarterback enough time to throw the ball or to make the right decision, or give that running back enough time to kind of view the whole field. All right, where should I make this cut, or where should I go, and do all that. That's huge, definitely. But I could see him going and get a wide receiver just to help with that, especially if Devontae Parker isn't a part of that team, because I know Mike Gesicki, he's definitely going to be a part of that team. Like I mentioned, in my opinion, he's a top 10 tight end in the NFL. He's fast as shit. He goes out and gets the ball. He's a really good. He has a really high motor. But then also Jalen Waddell flourishing at the second half of the season, he did pretty solid, actually. I mean, he did that whole, the waddle dance,
Yep.
like a penguin. That was starting to catch a little steam and stuff like that. So, I mean, they have a solid team. Their defense seems to be fine and seems to be flying around. And obviously, they seem fine because Brian Flores was the defensive-minded head coach. So he knew what to do defensively. They have Xavier Howard, Byron Jones. So those guys obviously
They
are
got a lot of
studs.
key pieces still there.
Right.
Defensive tackle. Do they got anybody?
Christian Wilkins, I think, is one of them, and he's not terrible. I think this was his second or third year for sure. I know in the NFL, and he hasn't been terrible by any means, but he's definitely not like an Aaron Donald or like a T.J. Watt or any of those guys. He's more of a.
How about backers?
Backers is another position I think they could go out and get because they had Kyle Van
So
Noy, but they got rid of him, sent to New England again. I think.
they get some offensive linemen, backer, slot receiver, maybe in the 3rd, 4th round, running back maybe in the 5th, 6th,
Yeah.
and then get their linemen early.
I think with Mike McDaniels being with the 49ers and being their run game coordinator, they obviously...
They're a team with a good offensive line as well.
Oh, yeah. I think, what was it, Trent Williams, their left tackle, he allowed 1 sack in the last, it was either 700-plus snaps or 900-plus snaps or something like that.
Dolphins could be in good hands.
They definitely could, and that division could all of a sudden just start being one of those
Power
top
divisions.
Yeah,
Yep.
exactly. Except, well, maybe the Jets, but Robert Saleh over there, I think year 1 is in the books. Zach Wilson's also going to grow, and their defense. I mean, they're just such a young team because they, like you mentioned earlier, with Tua, with basically you have to give these rookies or these younger kids more chances. Let them learn from their mistakes, and if they get better at it, keep them going. Keep putting them to the wolves or keep putting them in the water with the sharks. But if they don't continue to improve on the little things, that's when you got to kind of ship them out. And I think the Jets,
Because the NFL is a cutthroat league.
yeah,
I mean, I don't know if you've seen the new Kurt Warner movie.
not yet. No, I've seen the new Sean Payton one, but
This ain't spoiling too much, but Kurt Warner was on the Packers for about 3 days.
I do remember that.
Yeah, and you see how cutthroat the league is.
Like if you,
He goes, Kurt, get in there. He's like, Coach, I just got here. I don't know the playbook. He's like, get in there. He's like, I want to go in, but I just don't know the playbook. He's like, all right, hey, get in there. And then calls Kirk in the next day, and he's like, hey, you're done. Try giving you. He's like, you haven't even seen me. And we're like, we tried. So it's a cutthroat league, and only 1% of college. They say 5% of high school players make it to college, or Division I maybe.
Yep.
And then 1% of those guys get to the NFL.
And it could even be just a little bit lower than 1% too.
Yeah, and the average NFL career is 3.3 years.
Jesus Christ.
So it is a cutthroat league, but I just miss the days where you got to see a guy from the beginning look rough. Brett Favre.
Yeah.
Brett Favre. He started out on the Falcons. It was ugly.
Mm-hmm.
Got to the
There was a
Packers.
reason they got rid of him.
It was still kind of ugly, but then eventually, he's winning Super Bowls, breaking records. You know, stuff like that. You just don't see it nearly as much
No.
anymore.
It's win now.
Yeah.
Win now or nothing.
Like
Or
they're
not
talking
gonna be
about
here.
getting rid of Jalen Hurts or Tua's a similar situation. Jalen,
Yeah,
like these guys, like come on, they're
especially
so
after they
talented.
made the playoffs too with
Mhm.
Jalen Hurts. Like, give him another opportunity. Like, you gave him basically a year and a half.
And all these guys are better than anybody that's playing quarterback coming into the draft this year.
Oh yeah, 100%.
So it's like what's the word? Beggars can't be choosers.
Yeah,
Like if you got a guy right now, you might as well hang on to him.
because you never know what's going to
Yeah.
happen down the line. I mean,
Mhm.
obviously, like the whole Tom Brady, his come up and being like a fourth string
Yeah.
person at Michigan, and all of a sudden getting to flourish, being a backup behind Drew Bledsoe. Bledsoe goes down, he comes in, and all of a sudden, you know, he starts gaining steam and he starts winning these Super Bowls, and now it's like, oh shit, sixth
Goat.
round, yeah, 100%, greatest of all time. Like, pick 199, just let these guys go out there, give them more opportunities. If they do screw up at one point, you don't necessarily have to start them, but like, bring them to the bench. Explain to them what the hell they're doing. Explain to them what they did wrong, and then send them back out there for a play too. If they still just don't understand it, that's when you go into practice and you just fix it at practice here and there. And I think at that point, if they're not getting it at practice, they're not getting in the game, then you can obviously look at him like, okay, this guy's not ever going to get it. He's just not going to understand the game. But I think with all these people, like the 1% that gets in the NFL, a lot of them have that work ethic, that hard nose, like I'm going to come in here
Yeah.
because this is,
Every day, they got something different.
yeah, 100%. Like it's going to be an interesting situation down there in Miami. But I think
So
they're
I'm
in good
excited
hands.
for these spring leagues.
Yeah.
Like a lot of guys are gonna get a second opportunity playing in the XFL or what's the other one?
The USFL. And the USFL is in this spring. The XFL will
Yeah,
be next
next year.
spring with the USFL, I believe, as well. They're not going to be the same league, but it'll be two different leagues in the spring.
Sweet.
And then also you have the fan-controlled football league. I didn't mind it last year just because I liked calling the plays, but I mean it was kind of sloppy football. That's where Johnny Manziel belongs. But
Yeah, it's like its own sport, kind of.
yeah, and Josh Gordon played in there
That's good.
for a game, and he did pretty solid. He showed that, you know, hey, look, I can still play, and he got an
Yeah.
opportunity in the NFL. So all these different leagues, I mean, it's a nice opportunity. Taylor Heineke, starting quarterback for the Washington Commanders, he was the St. Louis Battle
PJ
Hawk.
Walker getting a backup job.
Yup.
God, I love PJ.
PJ.
I hope. I'm not gonna lie. I hope that he goes back.
It wouldn't surprise me.
Why not?
Oh,
You were
yeah.
a star there.
Especially if they start racking in more money with having The Rock as one of the owners
Yeah.
and really promoting it and getting it flourished. I think that'd be awesome. We could also see a lot of people that don't get the opportunity in the NFL go to the USFL. And that used to be a league way back in the day. And what's his name? Jeff Fisher. Remember
Okay.
Jeff Fisher?
Yep.
Old head,
Titans head coach.
and Rams as well.
Yep.
He is actually the head coach of the Michigan Panthers in the USFL.
Okay.
So, like, I mean, he wasn't obviously that great of a coach, okay, especially dealing with the Rams when on their down years. But having that NFL type level, going to the USFL, if he has a bunch of these backups go in there, he's going to have that knowledge of the game to, like, hey, if you want to play in the NFL, this is what you got to do and this is how you got to do it. So it'll be really interesting to see all these guys actually get a second chance to, you know, really set up their families, you know, life, basically. Set up their children for the rest of their life and their children's children and all like that. So I'm excited. This next year is going to look a lot different. it's gonna feel a lot like how this
Yeah.
year was. You know, like
Yeah, we were saying that last year. Like, there's going to be a lot of movement, and I think that we just got to start getting used to that
yeah,
because it's the win now mentality. What have
Yeah.
you done for me lately?
Yep.
So it's a lot of moving around, like a lot of putting,
new faces and new places.
yeah,
basically.
putting the puzzle pieces together, basically.
Yeah,
And I think Cincinnati, with the cap space they got, the young
$58
talent that
million.
they have, next year they are going to be a powerhouse team.
Yeah, especially if they fix that line, which that line
Yeah.
is atrocious. We'll get to that in a minute, but yeah, the $58 million in cap space, they could do
They're
a
looking
lot of
pretty.
damage. Hopefully, I mean they got to figure out their facilities first. I feel like, but they'll definitely figure that out eventually. But so next year, early in the season we talked about the international home markets, where teams have the opportunity to go and have a select few or two or one different kind of international market, whether that's China, Mexico, Germany, Brazil, Japan, all these other kind of international places or countries or whatever, which kind of leads to we've had the London games, we've had the Mexico City game at the Azteca Stadium in Mexico City. I think that was 2 years ago, but they're bringing that back next year. But they're also finally having their first ever games being played in Germany. The first will be in Munich. They'll play 2 in Munich. They'll play 2 in Frankfurt from the span of 2022 to 2025. What's your thoughts on kind of moving the game to Germany and internationally and growing it?
I'm all for it. I mean, football is an amazing game. There's nothing like it. It's chess. It's individual sports all in one game, but coming together as one of the most team sports. Like, if you're not carrying your weight, the team
Suffers.
the whole entire team is. But at the same time, it's you versus me, corners and wide receivers, they got their own game out there.
1v1.
Linemen, they got their own game of chess going on in there. You block this guy, you get that guy. And then you got the quarterback and the backers, or the quarterback and the safeties, I mean, it is just, there's something about the game. I mean, so it going international and younger generation seeing it that maybe all they grew up with was soccer, which is
Or rugby.
great sport, great worldwide sport, or rugby, which is an awesome sport as well. But maybe, for me when I was a child, it was like these guys were like superheroes out there.
Right.
Like seeing,
100%.
seeing the color combinations, the logos, the helmets, pads, jerseys. It stuck out
Yeah.
from all the other sports, and I think that it can grab a lot of attention of a young generation. And if we can get football being a worldwide loved sport, which on Super Bowl Sunday it is, but I mean, if we can get it spread around, have leagues here, yeah, I'm all for it. More
Yeah.
football.
No, 100%. Yeah, I'm
Nothing
definitely
wrong
all
with
for it too. It's gonna be like you said, growing the game of football and being able to maybe potentially set up new leagues like in Europe, so they have the opportunity to basically like, oh, they're really good in that league. Let's bring them over to the NFL. Let's give them a chance in the NFL, because there's a couple people that are from Germany actually that are in the NFL currently.
Yeah, I mean, NBA, hockey,
Right.
them sports already have it. Like, you got international guys with extreme talent coming to these places and helping these teams. So NFL could be the same thing. There could be guys in China, guys in Russia, guys in Canada, Mexico, wherever.
Could end up being an Olympic sport.
Yeah, I mean,
It'd be tough, but
even fighting sports, like, that's international. Football's kind of the only one where
it's the United States.
these colleges right in here.
The Power Five,
Yeah,
basically.
very rarely do you get international guys.
And when you do, I feel like get the international guys, it's like their chances of
They were
making.
a rugby player.
Yeah.
Or,
Because there was that one rugby player on the Niners team not too long, a couple years ago.
wasn't it Juszczyk? Wasn't he
No.
a rugby player? No?
He might have been, but it was a running back. God, he was a kick returner. Probably, it might have been more than a couple years ago, but I just remember they talked about it. He was fast. I mean, he was just a lightning bolt down there. But I mean, I feel like those international players don't get, like, if they do come over, their chances of even making a 53-man roster are a lot lower than the people that are in the United States that come out of the Power 5 conferences, like the
I mean, there's
Alabamas.
film on them.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just familiar. The scouts know about him.
And the game is a lot less, how do you want to say it, a lot less intense over there maybe. Because I think there's like some German football leagues, because I remember the Vikings, they drafted...
I know that there used to be, there's like this fire team. I want to say Kurt Warner played over there too.
I think he played in Canada.
I know he played in Canada. He played arena football. I can't remember.
There's definitely those leagues over there. They're definitely not up to par with the college game or the NFL game. But yeah, I'm pumped for this because it's going to give you... I'm excited to see, like, we've seen the London game time and time again. I mean, it's like the bottom two teams, like the worst teams, like the Jaguars always go there. Who else? Jeez. I know that, okay, basically the Jaguars always go there.
Yeah, I hate how they send the worst teams there.
Right? Like
why would you show these people the worst football we got?
Yeah, exactly. Like, why would you... But now with these international home markets, you kind of think, like, whoever the home market teams are in Germany, and I can't remember off the top of my head, I don't even have the picture right now to pull it up, but, like, you got to think maybe those international teams that can market their teams in Germany, maybe those teams get the opportunity to play in Germany. And then now maybe those teams that are from London that get to market their team in London, like the Vikings are one of them, maybe they get to play in London. Or like the Mexico game, the Azteca Stadium, same thing right there. Like, I wonder if maybe it'll start to change a little bit where maybe one of the home market teams gets to play there against like some non-market team over there. Kind of grow the game a little bit, because you don't want to send over like the worst of the league. You want to send kind of somewhere mid-pack to the top of the pack and get them over there. Dallas Cowboys will never. I just don't think they'll ever go over there unless it's an away game, because there's too much money for Jerry Jones to make over there in Dallas, obviously. But I think they could potentially...
They got shit over in L.A.
Yeah.
By the stadium.
Yeah. But, yeah, I suppose that's a practice facility, I think, over in L.A.
Smart.
Yeah, very
so
smart.
Genius.
Gives them that... I don't even know. Markets their team even to a broader select or broader audience.
They already got the most fans in the U.S.
Yeah, America's team. I don't know about that. I mean, geez Louise.
That's who they picked.
That's who they picked, apparently. We could dive into... Not really. Actually, we're going to stay away from that. Let's talk about the NFL Honors. The NFL Honors were last night. It was a pretty good show. Very good show, actually, with Key and what he was doing. He was singing. He's like, we're back. And he was just going around the crowd and giving the mic to some people. And finally, fucking Roger Goodell sang.
Wow.
Roger Goodell got up and sang a little bit. But he said something about hugs or something like that. It was pretty funny. Like, as soon as that happened, I was like, no way. I'm like, but it was all definitely, you could tell it was kind of all planned out because they knew what to say. They knew how to say it. Like the Gronk situation. You remember that commercial where he's like, where Gronk's like, Frank, that's not the line.
Oh, yeah.
Key did that to Gronk.
Oh.
Because he was like, so when you have to say Gronk when I cue you, okay? Okay. And then he did his whole spiel, and then when he went over to him, he's like, Robert. And it was just funny. I don't know why, but it was a really good introduction. But basically, NFL Honors is where they give out all of the awards from this year's 2021-2022 NFL season. So we'll kind of go through it. Let's go through the Hall of Fame class first. They announced it. They announced their Hall of Fame inductees, to say the least. And we'll just say this. Fucking Devin Hester, Andre Johnson, Reggie Wayne, Terry Holt, DeMarcus Ware, Patrick Willis, Jared Allen did not make it. Or Rondé Barber. Richard Seymour, he made it. I was pretty pumped about that. I should be able to find this relatively quickly. But he made it. I think... Tony Baselli made it. He was a lineman for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Leroy Butler, he made it. He played for the Green Bay Packers. And when he was actually coming on the stage, Aaron Rodgers, they went to him real quick and he's like, hey, Leroy! And just, it was pretty cool to see. A cool moment for that. Let's see who else. I think Zach Thomas might have made it. Sam Mills, I think, might have made it. It's right here. Let's see. I'm getting close, folks. All right, this is the Hall of Fame class of 2022. Tony Baselli, Cliff Branch, Leroy Butler, Art McNally, Sam Mills, Richard Seymour, Dick Vermeil. That was a big one. I thought that was a pretty solid inductee, I guess, because he coached the Rams. I think he had Kurt Warner.
Oh, really?
I think so. I think he had the greatest show on turf at one point. I think before he retired, and then obviously Bryant Young was also inducted into the Hall of Fame class. So pretty good class. But I would have liked to see one of these younger guys in their first years of eligibility, like a Devin Hester, make it, or Andre Johnson. I think he might deserve it. Reggie Wayne, I think, deserves it. He had a couple good years. Oh, yeah. Who else? DeMarcus Ware. I think he might deserve it. Patrick Willis, and with his time in San Francisco, he was a stud.
Crazy. These are guys that we grew up watching.
Right? Jared Allen, even.
Yeah.
He definitely deserves it. But yeah, that's the Hall of Fame class of 2022. So let's kind of talk about the awards. So obviously the awards are the MVP, the Defensive and Offensive Rookie of the Year, the Offensive Defensive Player of the Year, the Walter Payton Man of the Year award. But we'll start right off the bat with the MVP. Four-time MVP of the league, Aaron Rodgers.
Good for him.
Hell yeah, I think he deserved it. I think he received 39 out of the 50 votes.
He does deserve it.
Yeah. If he didn't get it, my next thought, because there was three finalists. It was Rodgers, Brady, and Cooper Kupp. I knew Cooper Kupp wasn't going to get it because the wide receivers just don't win that award. It is what it is. Sorry, but the other one would have been Brady, obviously, because he held the record for most passing yards this year, the most touchdowns this year, and obviously did his whole thing. But Aaron Rodgers won the MVP. I got that one right. This is the one I got wrong. And as soon as I heard it, as soon as it was announced, George can even attest to this. He's watching, hopefully. I literally went oh, duh, what the fuck? So for Offensive Player of the Year, I said give it to Jonathan Taylor. Okay, probably Jonathan Taylor. He did a phenomenal year. Had a phenomenal year with the Colts and did his whole thing. But Offensive Player of the Year, wide receiver of the Los Angeles Rams, Cooper Kupp. And I can't believe, I literally forgot about that. I just forgot about him for some odd reason. He didn't even pop up in my mind when I said that. So I was kind of fuck. How the hell? As soon as you said Jonathan Taylor, he's I agreed with it for a little bit, and then all of a sudden he's once they said Kupp, both me and him kind of had that, oh, okay. Yeah, makes sense. Defense Player of the Year. This was awesome. This was awesome to watch. He was the first award to get handed out of the night. TJ Watt, Defensive Player of the Year, and him and his brother having that moment, that hug, that longer hug, because J.J. Watt's a 3-time Defensive Player of the Year winner. Now T.J. Watt has his. So
there'll be more.
Oh yeah, 22.5 sacks, tying Michael Strahan. In I think he did it in 14 games.
Yeah, that's nuts.
Yeah, so I mean he's on a whole nother level. So we'll see what happens to the Pittsburgh Steelers going forward, because they have a whole quarterback issue that they got to figure out first. They got a wide receiver issue. Who knows if Juju's going to be there? Who knows if Chase Claypool will probably be there. Pat Freiermuth. A lot of people are really liking what he's bringing to the table. He's going to be a pretty good tight end, I think, for some time to come. Najee Harris is obviously there, but yeah. So T.J. Watt won Defensive Player of the Year, obviously. Offensive Rookie of the Year, Jamar Chase. Yeah. Okay. Broke Justin Jefferson's rookie receiving record of 1,400. I should have looked at it, but I know it was either in 14, it was 1,420 something or 1,460 something. It might have been somewhere around there. But yeah, he definitely deserves it. Definitely won and outshined all the rookies. Fumbles round. And jeez, I even posted a picture on the Snapchat. That fucker, I shit you not, his emblem on his chain was, huge.
I could see him changing the game, changing the position. Just like that, man.
Mahomes, yeah. Changing the quarterback position. For the most part, I guess.
He just does stuff you've never seen before.
Yeah. I guess definitely.
He's different.
He is different. I seen a stat, or I seen this accolades that he had where he, I think, twice or once. I know for sure once.
I think just once.
I think just once, but
Yeah, because Lamar won it 1 year.
yeah, it was Patrick, Lamar, Rodgers. I think is how it went. Because Lamar was on the last Madden. I think the year before that he 4-time MVP, maybe a 2-time Super Bowl champion. You gotta. Well, let's talk about that quick.
Fuck about his Super Bowl.
Did you get a chance to hear his speech?
No.
It was a quick one, obviously, because they saved the big speech for the Walter Payton Man of the Year award, which we'll get to. But the way he was speaking, the way he was thanking the organization, this has been an incredible 17 years, blah blah blah. It just it seemed like, all right, he's done, like he's probably gonna retire. But there's another thing that's like, he loves this game. You can see his passion. You can see like I deserve to win this MVP. So he could be on the move. It just felt like that. I don't know, for some reason the way he was talking, it was just like, what if he just like retires like right now? Like this again, 4 times. I mean, incredible. I think Peyton Manning has 5. He actually got to announce that one. They
I think
announced
Steve Young has 6.
Holy shit. I think Brady might have. No, I think Brady only has 4.
I think Brady has 3.
I think you're right. So it's hard. It's hard to get.
Yeah.
It's hard to get more than 3. It's hard to even get 1. So I mean, get 4. It's nuts, Scott. Because I mean, yeah, he deserves it. But Joey fucking B is in the goddamn Super Bowl.
Yeah.
A year after
Gotta give
blowing
it to
his
Joey.
knee. Yes. I mean, the things he's been able to do, that moxie around him. Oh, I mean, I can't wait for this year's Super Bowl. It's gonna be great. We'll talk about that here in a minute. Coach of the Year. I said this could be a toss-up.
Mike Vrabel.
Yeah, Mike Vrabel won. Mike Vrabel ended up winning that one. I think he deserves it. Number 1 seed in the AFC, and it looks like his team's always continuously getting better.
Yeah.
So good for him. Assistant Coach of the Year. This was announced before the NFL Honors Show. Defensive coordinator Dan Quinn actually won the Assistant Coach of the Year award. So congratulations to him. He was up for a lot of head coaching positions, but he's staying in Dallas this year. So we'll see what comes of that. Maybe he gets a head coaching opportunity next year. That's a very big possibility. But lastly, the Walter Payton Man of the Year award goes to Andrew Whitworth. Phenomenal job for him. Phenomenal job. A man that lives down or from Louisiana, does a bunch of stuff with the Boys and Girls Club, and really gives these people of all colors, all race, and doesn't matter your background or anything, an equal opportunity to do something great that people necessarily don't think that you can achieve. And he was able to do that. And he was able to install that into some guy, I can't remember the name, but it's a dude that plays for the Detroit Lions. And they actually, Rams versus Lions this year, after the game, Whitworth said, this guy literally comes sprinting up to me. He's like, I didn't know what was going on. Like, I was kind of like, well, okay, what's going, like, really confused.
I saw that little clip.
What?
I think I saw that clip.
Yeah.
I forgot his name, too.
Yeah, I don't remember his name. I think it was a weirder name, like a kind of a not normal name, like one of those funky ones. But he literally came sprinting up to him, and he's like, you probably don't remember me, but you came and talked to us at the Boys and Girls Club and gave us the opportunity. And he's like, I just want to let you know because of that, like, I'm here, I made it big with.
Yeah.
And it was kind of like almost a teary moment for a lot of people, even myself. Like, it was more, not even a teary moment, but for me it was like a big smile, like goosebumps, like, that's kind of cool. Like, that's awesome to be able to instill that in somebody and be a reason or an inspiration of why they did something and why they accomplished what they have.
Yeah, I mean, you coach that flag football.
Right?
I mean, what if one of those kids...
There's a couple.
Yeah.
There was a couple, like, oh, oof. But hopefully they have, I mean, geez, in Richland, geez Louise.
Yeah, it's rough down there.
I mean,
but
it's
possible.
It's
Anything's
possible.
Manifestation is real.
Yeah, 100%. It is very weird. I have my own stories on that. Lately, the last couple of months has been fucking weird for myself. I mean, things I've thought about and then they actually happen, like the next day or something. Like, it's just like mind blowing. It's nuts. So congratulations to all of those winners. The NFL Honors is pretty good. Pretty good show to watch. Not the greatest, thing in the world, obviously, if you're not a football fan. But I thought it was pretty interesting. But now we are headed to Super Bowl 56. The Cincinnati Bengals taking on the Los Angeles Rams. I'm pumped up for this one. This feels like one of the best Super Bowls in almost recent history, in my opinion. Like, I don't know who's going to win. It's so weird. Like, I don't know the outcome. I have a good feeling of who might win. But this game, I mean, there's just something about it.
Mm-hmm.
And you want to know something even better? The Bengals have been in 2 Super Bowls before this. They played the San Francisco 49ers. So if the Niners would have beat the Rams, it would have been the Bengals against the Niners. And all the Super Bowls the Bengals have been in, they've only played the Niners, if that were the case. But it's not. They're playing the fucking Rams. All right, get over it. Pretty pumped about it. What about you?
Yeah, I'm pretty excited. Really am not rooting for anybody.
No.
I mean, I'd be cool with either. So yeah, it's just one of those Super Bowls that you can just sit back with the boys and enjoy.
Right. Yeah, I think, like you said, like I probably don't be rooting for anybody except for, God, my game pick. I don't even know yet. This is gonna be nuts. Like, I might have to cheer for my game pick just so I get it, my record right. But at the same time, it's like Matthew Stafford deserves it. He definitely deserves a Super Bowl. And Joey Burrow and Jamar Chase and what the Cincinnati Bengals have been able to accomplish this year with, having a couple of being shitty historically, basically, and giving them the opportunity to maybe win would be even awesome. Like, awesome. Or like, because Joe Burrow, we never know. Joe Burrow might not ever make it back to the Super Bowl. Dan Marino went to 1, never went back. So, I mean, it's very, very possible that happens. So, I mean, either way, this game is going to be nuts. And honestly, I think the Rams have a little bit of an edge because that Bengals offensive line is atrocious.
Yep.
I mean, it is bad. 9 sacks, I think, against the Tennessee Titans.
But how many against the Chiefs? 1?
Yeah. That's because of Joey Burrow. And Joe Shiesty out there making moves.
Of course, that team just steps up for Joe.
In the big moments, yeah. Believes in Joe and that Joe will get the job done.
Defense also got hot at the right time, too.
Yeah, they did. Trey Hendrickson's flying around making...
And that team was down 21... What was the score? 21-3?
Yeah. It was 21-3.
That game.
I remember just sitting there.
At Kansas City.
Right? I remember sitting there and Mason walked by.
I don't know what else is also impressive.
Huh.
I hate to interrupt you.
No, you're good.
They did it twice.
I know.
They beat them in the last game of the season.
Week 17.
Did they play at home in that one?
No.
Or did they play at Kansas City?
No. Ooh.
If they beat them twice at Kansas City...
No, I think they played in Cincinnati.
Okay.
I think. Because I think they were wearing the orange jerseys because we were watching them on the...
Oh, yeah. They looked weird.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, but
Still.
when I was watching that game, it was 21-3. I just remember just sitting there nonchalantly. It felt like I was literally watching Tom Brady for some odd reason. Because when Tom Brady plays, I never get nervous. Like, it's never... No anxiety, no nothing until that clock hits fucking 0. And then I realize, he lost or something like that. But Mason walked by, it was 21-3. He's like, Jesus. I was like, yeah, it's not going so hot, but you never know. There's a lot of game left. And then the next time he walked by, I can't remember what it was. It was fucking tied. It was 21-21. And I was like, see this? I was like, yeah, it's fucking nuts, man. I was like, this is a good game. Like, I knew they were going to come back and do something special. But some kind of breaking news out of the Los Angeles Rams and I guess the Cincinnati Bengals. So the Cincinnati Bengals, you guys all know, or hopefully all know, that their tight end CJ Uzama got injured in the AFC Championship game, a sprained MCL. It was kind of unlikely that he might not have the chance to play in this year's Super Bowl. He was limited practice this whole entire week, but it sounds like he's ready to rock and roll. He should be playing for the Cincinnati Bengals. Who knows at how much of a pace he's going to be playing at or if he's going to be limited or anything. But on the other side, in the NFC Championship game, tight end, Tyler Higbee suffered an injury, and he has been officially ruled out of the Super Bowl. He's on IR, but they did activate Darrell Henderson, and I believe one of their tackles, nose tackles or whatever I don't know, some guy that I really don't know about. But Tyler Higbee's not going to be playing in the game for the Rams. Do you think that's kind of a big hit to their offense or not?
I mean, a guy like Higbee? Yeah. It's a big hit to your offense. He's a big part of the team.
I mean, they got OBJ, they got Cooper Kupp, they got Cam Akers, Sony Michel, Darrell
But they had
Henderson.
Higbee.
Yeah, that's very true. He adds that extra that extra
Right.
motor out there, that blocking ability.
Anytime you lose a guy, but I mean, he is a big, significant part of that offense.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of attention goes his way, a lot of attention goes Odell's way, and now you take one of those pieces out, it just eases a little bit of that pressure off the defense.
No, yeah, 100%. I think this game is. Well, I think the Rams are 4-point favorites, and I think it's been continuously going down as we've been getting closer to the Super Bowl. Because I mean, like I said earlier, like I just don't know who's gonna win this one. Like, it's so tough. And you know what's even better is the other day working, rolling some burritos. This guy comes in with a Bengals hat. I was like,
Oh, it's already started.
I was like, okay. Well, and he got close. He got close. Who Day Nation. But he got closer to me. I was like, so they're gonna pull it off?
Yeah, come out of nowhere.
All right. And he's like, oh, I'm an LSU fan, so that's why I got Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase. I think there's another guy that was in LSU, so that's why he was wearing the hat. But it goes back to what Pat McAfee said on his show. He said basically like it's cool now almost to wear a Bengals hat because before, if you were to wear that, it's kind of like they're kind of a shitty team. Like, why are you a fan of that team? But now it's kind of like you
Sounds
got
like you're the fucking bandwagoners. It's like the Seahawks fans that came through for a while.
yeah, you're not wrong. My brother, he's a
I know.
Seahawks fan. I don't know how that works out, but
And then the Chiefs fans came. I never saw Chiefs fans before Mahomes.
no, hell no.
Fuck no.
No, I think they're all Mahomes fans most
Yeah.
likely, but
And now
Buccaneers,
Yeah,
kind of hit and miss.
I really didn't see that many come out of nowhere. I mean,
I suppose, yeah, you're not wrong. It's more the Brady fan base.
yeah,
More that,
that's what I saw was people following Brady, which is totally understandable.
yeah.
But yeah, as far as bandwagon Buck fans, I really didn't see very
No.
many. But yeah, now with the Bengals, there's gonna be a bunch of people just.
Coming out of the basement.
Yeah, I've always been
What's
a
up?
Bengals fan.
Yeah, we're finally, yeah.
Always.
And the true fans, like the one you guys probably have seen on that Instagram post, that old dude just with his blanket watching, just broke down in tears. Like that's a true fan. Like one day, God, if that's me at that age, which probably will be if the Vikings finally make it eventually, when I'm like 85 or geez, 85 is a long time. That's old. But I could definitely see myself just. We finally did it. That'd be awesome, but. Like I said earlier,
Croak.
yeah. Well, we did it. Well, I'd have to wait till we see the outcome. Yeah. All right, that's it, folks. That's all, folks. Just sign off right then and there. But Rams are currently 4-point favorites. This is a big-time Super Bowl. We'll make our game picks right now. Logan has picked the Los Angeles Rams to win this ball game. To me, that's what it seems like. I think the Rams are more likely to win this ball game, but this is a tough one. Do you know your pick already or no?
I do.
What's your
Want me
pick?
to say it?
Yeah.
All right. I'm gonna have to pick the Rams. Here's why. One, they got $58 million in cap space. They need a fucking line.
Yeah.
That line is facing some dogs on the Rams side. Two, you got Aaron Donald. You got Jalen Ramsey. What else they got on defense?
Leonard Floyd.
Floyd.
He's really good. There's another one that I always forget about.
Offense, you got a veteran. Cooper Kupp. Offense, you got a veteran. Odell Beckham. Offense, you got a veteran. Matthew Stafford. It seems Andrew Whitworth,
Played on both of these teams, by the way.
I mean, you got veterans versus young guys. You got Sean McVay, who's been to the Super Bowl before.
They lost.
They did lose. I think that this is Stafford's Super Bowl. And I think that this is where we find out that the Bengals had a great season, but they still got some work to do.
That's a good point. I like that. Before I make my pick, I do think the Rams probably going to win this game, just because of all the points you pointed out. And this is Matthew Stafford's time. But something about them Bengals.
It's possible. I think if the Rams freaking beat the Bengals by 20 points, nobody would really be that surprised.
No. Nah, I wouldn't.
But if the Bengals win, it's going to be a close game.
Yeah, and that's why after seeing that Simpsons fucking picture of the Bengals cheerleaders and the fucking score with the Bengals and LA, it said Bengals 34, LA 31, with all that they've predicted for some odd reason. I mean, it probably could be all fugazi, but I mean,
That's fake.
something.
They took like
I think it was the
screenshots.
Chargers because
Well,
they had that bolt. in
Yeah,
there.
and they took screenshots from different episodes and like put them all on there, and then the score was just written on there by
Really?
like I mean, you could tell it was just regular yellow font, just over the picture.
Interesting.
So
I'm still.
that's not a real Simpsons prediction.
Yeah.
It's just some guy making a meme, but he could be right.
Yeah, you never know. I want the Bengals. I still do think the Rams will win, but I'm going to pick the Bengals to win this game just because of what they've been able to do this entire season, just what Joe Burrow has brought to that organization, and I mean they've literally practiced.
Mixon too.
Yeah.
Mixon can get going and be unstoppable.
It all relies on that offensive line,
It does.
but I mean, like against the Kansas City Chiefs, once they figured out got that one-on-one matchup with Jamar Chase, it was able to open up literally everything in their offense, and that whole second half just bam, bam, bam. I mean, the Chiefs literally came out that second half and looked dead. Like, honestly, like I was like, where?
Chiefs don't got Jalen Ramsey.
No, but I feel like Jalen Ramsey's good, but I think he sometimes he talks too fucking much, and I think that bites him in the butt sometimes. But he's a very good corner.
That's part of the corner game, though.
Getting you in your mind.
That's why you see him every single incomplete pass there. They're trying to get into your head. That's the whole game of being a corner. So I personally love it when corners talk, and especially when they are good-ass corners.
Yeah.
Like Jalen Ramsey is one of the better corners in the league.
He won't necessarily get the interceptions, but you're not gonna get any yards on him. It's gonna be
You're not
very
going to
tough.
have 120 yards, 2 tutties on
But-
Jalen Ramsey.
They got T. Higgins. He went off a couple games. They got
T.
Tyler
Higgins.
Boyd, I think, is still over there.
But is T. Higgins first read guy or second read guy?
No.
How much time does Joe Burrow have back there?
You know,
How many
it's
reads
gonna be
you get?
interesting. Yeah, probably not too many. He's gonna have to know he's throwing the ball.
Because
to.
if they can't cover him, they're definitely going to try bringing the pressure. And all you got to do is rush 4 guys.
Yeah, and if you send that blitz with Von Miller,
I mean, you could just rush 4 guys with Von Miller, fucking...
Leonard Floyd, Aaron Donald, and God, what's the other fucker's name?
Yeah, you could literally just rush 4 guys, the rest back in coverage. And then, every once in a while, send in a 5th guy on the 3rd down
Sneak
or
down
something.
one. Yeah.
And then it's like, oh, shit. Or even the drop back, where you fake blitz, drop back,
Yeah.
confuse a young quarterback like Joe
Right.
Burrow like that.
I don't know if you
And-
confuse him though on that.
I mean, if you're getting pressured all game,
Yeah, you probably will. At one point.
and you're just rushing 4 guys, and you're getting pressure, just rushing 4 guys, and then you start sending extra blitzer, and then you're bringing them back and forth, and he's got to read that. I mean,
It's gonna be tough. It's gonna be a fun
Rams.
Super Bowl though.
yeah, if Rams win it, it's going to be their defense taking advantage of the Bengals.
Turnovers. Whoever wins,
Yeah.
I think the turnover margin, which typically that's usually how every football. But at the same time, it's like,
Stafford could throw a couple picks too.
and if he does, that could be very detrimental to the outcome of the
Yeah.
score.
It could.
And he's had a really good couple games lately.
Mm.
Something tells me he might just have an off day because this is his first Super Bowl appearance.
Yeah.
But they are in SoFi, so this would be a really good opportunity for the Rams to bring some more people over to their fan base because,
Yeah.
I mean, they're literally playing away games the entire year. It's just, I mean, it's not good at all. But there you guys have it. Logan and John both picked the Rams to win. I'm picking the Bengals, even though I have a good feeling the Rams probably going to win this one, but give me the Bengals anyways. So those are our Super Bowl picks. We talked at length, ad nauseum, about Tua Tagovailoa and what Mike McDaniels is probably going to do, build around him, get some extra pieces, build that offensive line, possible running back, slot receiver, linebacker. You get it. We talked about that, the NFL honors and all the awards that were given out. But, hey, Sunday is our last game of this season. It could not be any more excited as well as sad, because who knows what the hell we're going to do, except for cover the USFL for sure. See how that goes, maybe. That'll be pretty interesting to cover. But enjoy the weekend. Be safe out there. Have one hell of a Super Bowl party. Do what you got to do, but be safe more than anything. Have a great one. We'll be back here Monday to talk about what the hell happened for Super Bowl 56 at 6 p.m. Central Time. Have a great one. We'll be here Monday. And you just got your fix with a Wicks. Peace out, folks.